let's see if this works.
The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We're going to bring in the news and reviews of your favorite brews. My name is Dan Baker, and I am once again joined by my co-host and brewologist,
F. Hafner.
and of course the demented and fermented,
Wayne Baker.
with his new fancy USB microphone on the other side
I got
of the
a
city.
new microphone.
Yeah,
It lights up.
it does. It's fancy. It's fancy. You just need a different color pop filter for it now.
I do need a pop filter, but if I get a pop filter, you won't be able to see the light.
Oh man, they done you dirty.
I need to get one of the
Get
ones
a clear
that's like
one.
a disc that goes in front of it.
Oh yeah, you
one?
can do that. I mean, we
Clear
can,
foam.
We'll invent
like
it.
aerogel.
What was that? What was it from Star Trek 4? Transparent aluminum.
Transparent.
We
aluminum.
do
haven't
that.
even introduced the guest yet, and you're already on a freaking nerd tangent.
Of course we are. It's been a while. But yes. So as I said, sort of as a throwaway comment, Wayne is across the city. Steph is across the state. Our guest is across the country. Oh, that's so cool and exciting. We have joining us all the way from Bierstadt Lagerhaus.
Ashley Carter. I'm here in Denver, cold-ass Denver, Colorado. Yep.
Cold-ass Denver, Colorado.
And thanks for having me.
Oh,
yeah.
of course. Thank you for joining us. We mentioned right before we started that you have your beanie because you were in cold-ass Denver, Colorado. I'll admit I've never been to Denver, but it is very high on my list of places to go. And now we can add one more reason to the list of reasons to go.
Fantastic. Any day of the week can be any season. So
I've only been to Denver in the summertime. I've never experienced this crazy, wacky, like in-between season weather you guys have.
like, the Craft Brewers Conference last year, it was like 80 degrees one day and the next day was a freak snowstorm. It was kind of bananas.
I imagine it's got to, especially bananas, because that event gets pretty crazy no matter where it is. And you've got people coming from out of town, don't know what to expect. Yeah, I've never been there either. As long as we're recounting whether we've been to Denver, I have not, but I would love to get to Colorado. And I would love to get to Bierstadt Lagerhaus to drink the amazing lager beers there.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, did the beers make it?
Well, here's the thing. They made it to Steph.
Yeah.
That was totally me. I went to Austin and totally forgot. And I don't know. Days turn into weeks.
It happens.
Weeks or hours. I don't even know what day it is right now.
Time
It's
is
all right.
time is a construct and certainly doesn't matter this year.
Yeah, and and we've all been making obviously major adjustments to everything we do this year. You guys as well at the brewery. The reason you guys even have cans, which I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, we're getting used to doing the podcast this way. But we used to always be on location, so the beer was always we were at the brewery. So
Right.
this whole logistics of getting beer for the show now is still kind of a new thing we're figuring out ourselves.
Well, thank you for sending it in the first place, for being willing to send the beer.
I promise I won't drink it all. I will drink most of it.
Please
but
don't.
I won't drink it all. I will make sure they get some.
I sent it there and I said, if you share, that's on you. I got it somewhere. So
Well, I appreciate it. You sent it to the right place.
perfect.
Yeah, if one of us was going to get it, it should have been.
Yeah, no, that's true.
deserves it.
That's true. Well, we have a lot to get to, but let's remind you out there in the podcast land that you can follow along with the shenanigans in the world of Beer Busters on the Twitter and the Instagram. We are at Beer Busters. Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. There is also patreon.com/beerbusters. Get yourself access to Last Call, to outtakes, to in the before times when we weren't being existentially punished, there were punishment videos. And there is also beerbusterspodcast.com/shop.
Yes, buy merch at the shop.
Exactly.
It's cool.
And it is not
Steph is
all
wearing
Steph is wearing her awesome lager logo
cool
shirt.
lager shirt from
I
our
like
shop.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, original designs courtesy of our own Wayne Baker.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the shop. I'm really proud of the designs, and it's super fun to do. And I'm glad that people are actually buying stuff.
Yeah,
which is
that's because the designs are awesome. You are a very talented designer.
Oh, thanks. Any other compliments you guys want to shoot my way?
I was going to say I've reached my quota for the night. We're good, right?
Oh, that's it? Okay.
But we do have so much to get to, as I had said. Of course, Bierstadt Lagerhaus, we've said, is in Denver, so clearly that is very, very far away. But there's a reputation that comes with Bierstadt Lagerhaus, and that comes with you, Ashley. So you are known as as a specifically German lager-centric brewery, which
For the most part, yeah.
for the most part, okay.
Yeah.
which I find very interesting given the beer climate that we're in currently, where everybody's clamoring for the hop bombs, the juice bombs, and there's nothing wrong with it. You like it, drink it. But I find it interesting that your mission seems to mostly be upholding the German lager styles. Why would you? I mean, not like it's a bad thing. Why would you do that? But like, what is the impetus behind keeping that tradition?
We are a lager brewery number one, first and foremost. So I always like to be, we do focus on German styles, and definitely our core brands are German inspired. But I would say that, we didn't want to make it too tight niche or too Disneylandish, by only being German. Because I do think lager is more than one thing. And a lot of people don't think, they kind of equate it with your macro beer or whatever. So, trying to kind of expand those horizons as far as what lager can be. And I really love the idea of being really super familiar with one yeast, the thing that makes beer. We kind of just make the sugar stuff, and yeast makes, the magic happen, essentially. So, to focus on one thing, really lager in general, I find very much technique driven. So you kind of have this very small subset of ingredients, and it's kind of how you treat them. And when we put together this brewery, we really focused on trying to put together a brewery that made one thing and one thing really well. So not that you couldn't make an IPA here, but it's definitely not set up. I don't have dry hop ports. Like, I don't have things of that nature. I don't have, a hop back. It's not set up to make those kind of things. Like, again, I could make them. But we really tried to focus on putting together a brewery to make this one style and have all the tricks that you can possibly have to do so. So that was kind of the inspiration for it.
Now, the one thing that brought notoriety, I think, first and foremost to Bierstadt was the allure of this slow pour pills. And I want to talk about this right away because, I want to open a can and start drinking it. And I promised myself I wasn't going to be a fangirl, but I am going to tell you that slow pour pills is legit my favorite beer on the planet. There is nothing like sitting at the bar at Bierstadt and getting served your first slow pours and automatically ordering the second one. Just like there's something special about that. So tell us a little bit about the slow pour pills, why the slow pour, and perhaps maybe why you think that it's gotten this sort of mystique in the beer world, and why so many people seem to appreciate it and the hype behind it.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly crazy cool, to be honest. First, just if you think about German pills, okay? So German pills in and of itself should be dry, snappy, should be kind of like the hop aroma should be dusty. I know that word maybe doesn't make sense, but it shouldn't be grassy and kind of in your face. It should be just kind of subtly there. The bitterness should be just enough that it kind of makes you want to take another sip, right? So it's kind of like salt in a dish, right? A little bit more salt can kind of, is quenching the thirst. It makes you want to take another sip. So that's how the bitterness should kind of lie in there. As far as the beer and being slow pour pills, it was a big discussion between me and my partner, Bill at the very beginning, because when I drink pills, if you go to Europe, I should backtrack a little bit. When you're in the United States, we have some of the coolest beer things here, honestly, right? You can get anything. I can get Saison, I can get Tank 7, right? I can get Saison from a local brewery around the corner that's excellent. I can get traditional cask ale, I can get IPA, all done to some of the highest levels in the entire world. But what we do sometimes is we, can I curse here? Is that a no?
Oh, please do.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's one of my favorite terms. It's in my phone, by the way. If I put abso, it just completes fucking lutely. Same with shitballs. I don't know why that would
nice.
Be too. And shitbagger, that's another one.
That reminds me, random thought. Whenever I go to type happy birthday to somebody on Facebook, a friend of mine had a birthday today, my phone always wants to auto complete it with happy bitch, and I have no idea why, because it's not a word I type off. But, yeah.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, random thought. Continue.
The thing that we don't have here, I think, in the United States, and we're getting a little better, but we don't have it like the European and even honestly just random countries around the world, is a lot of times you get a beer served in like a shit line shoe, it's it's kind of a sad expression of what it should be. You have all these small brewers that take so much time. You think about all the ingredients, you think about how you source your hops, you think about what you're going to do, what the malt is, like how you're going to treat it. And then at the end of the day, you fall flat and it gets served in a dirty shaker pint. And so, when we go to Europe, like that's just the way, like the idea to call it slow pour pills is kind of funny because that's just how you get pills, if you're in Germany, which I find hilarious. They don't really waste a lot of beer, and that's kind of part of it, right? So they don't really dump anything down the drain. So they're constantly building foam and building foam and building foam just because they're not going to dump any of it down the drain. And so all pills there is slow pour pills. If you're in Italy, same thing. You can't get a beer not served that way, basically. And it's my favorite way to drink our beer. So when we were first discussing how we were going to do this thing and how we wanted to serve it, and we were like, are we really going to make our bartenders do this? Like, it's kind of a big undertaking, but at the end of the day, it's how I want my beer served to me. So I want to give that experience to everyone else. And the things that it does to it is obviously the presentation is exceptional. I strive to have, not the Big Mac effect where it looks like really great in a photo, but you get it and it doesn't look like that. I always want our beers to come served to you the same way that you see them displayed on our, Instagram or displayed on our fancy photos or whatever they are. And, so that part of it. There's also, because that beer's so highly carbonated, and I think you'll find that in the can, is that when you pour it slowly, what that does is kind of dissipate some of that carbonation, which makes it a little bit easier to drink, kind of open up some of those floral and lemony hop aromas. So, that's kind of the idea of the pouring it slowly. It's a little less prickly, a little less carbonated. That softness of bitterness kind of comes through. And then obviously building that really wonderful, protein foam thing you got going on, which is part of the whole thing. So, that's kind of the long answer, I guess, or medium answer to the question. But it is, my favorite beer. I go back and forth between that and Helles, depending on the mood, And I'm happy when it gets presented that way. And I think it's a testament to our bartenders, honestly, for doing this crazy thing that, we kind of made them do.
Do you think I can slow pour it from the can?
From the can.
I do think you can.
Yeah. I believe in you.
But
I believe in you.
Here's the thing. In honor of the Pilsner, so I grabbed a couple of 6-packs of some local lagers. So I have in the Chamonix Creek's Trauger Pils. And I tried to pour it slowly in my glass, but I'm also very impatient. I wanted to drink it. So
by the way, I don't know how familiar you are with Pennsylvania breweries, but so Victory Brewing and Trogs Brewing, they have a long history of brewing German styles as well because of the German heritage in this area in eastern Pennsylvania. But at Victory, you can order their Pilsner with a slow pour, which is pretty cool. So when we recorded there with Bill Kowaleski, he actually requested that the bartenders do that for us. So it is becoming the cool thing. I know it's the normal thing everywhere else, but
I was going to bring that up because that was the first exposure I had to a slow pour, and I didn't really understand the draw behind it, except that it would take an extra couple of minutes, and I was told that it would be a lot more aromatic and flavorful, and so many things would change in the process, and I didn't understand it until I took my first sip, and it's such a beautiful thing. And now I wish everything could be slow poured and have that magical transformation.
So Ashley, do you think that the slow pour pills has kind of become like the cool kid in the lager land because so few other places are serving it that way? Why do you think it's gotten so much attention?
I have a couple of theories, some of which, I think we're lucky we're in Denver, okay? I'm not going to lie. A lot of people come there anyways. And brewers, they love to drink copious amounts of lager. It's just what we do. But I also think that something that we did was we proved to people that you can do that, right? Everybody says it takes too long, or you can't do it. It makes the bar too crazy or whatever. And, I have a lot of industry people. Go ahead and just dump it in until you're 3/4 foam.
I'm trying to be patient.
No, dump it in hard till it's 3/4 foam.
I was going to say, take her advice. She's telling you how to do it.
Hard pour it.
I know how to do it from a tap. I've never done this from a can.
Anyways, it feels weird. It does feel weird. I can
see you got a good amount of foam there.
You're doing pretty good. But I think that people were really surprised that we did it. all the time, every pour. You can't get it any other way. I don't care who you are, you cannot have it a different way. And I think that people like being told no, honestly. And I think, not everything has to be in such a damn hurry, all the time. And when we did it, and I've had a couple people that I know that are local here, and they saw us start to get busy, and they're like, you got to stop doing that. You got to stop pouring it slow like that. You guys got to just go for it. You got to just pour those beers. And my argument against that is, why are people here then? If you can just get that same beer anywhere, it's why come to the source? Why get the special, the special thing? Why make tableside guacamole? Why, creme brulee? Why light it on fire there? Like, why do all these things? And that's part of what it is. You see the process at work. You see the intention at work. It's not a gimmick. It's intentional. And I think that's part of the reason why it's become so popular, is because we're just unwavering in that kind of respect.
It gives it a certain, there's a good, like not a gimmicky, but a good presentation and a traditional presentation in whether it's a meal or a drink. Like I remember when we did the thing at Current Cidery, where he poured out of that like traditional Spanish cider thing. And it was like this whole presentation, and he was like, he tried to get the pour as long as possible, just like how they do it. And like, it's really cool because it adds to the experience, and it also, obviously has an effect on the taste and the character of the thing you're consuming, drinking or eating or whatever. But it makes it special. And I think that idea, like, not only do people like to be told no, but they like to be told, like, no, this is how it's supposed to be, and you're like, we're only going to serve it to you the way it's meant to be. And there's a certain quality to that I think people appreciate.
So, and I appreciate that you did go against what you said you were going to do in your canning. But am I to understand that this is only a temporary thing, canning your beers, or is it going to become more long-term?
What I can tell you is, the moment that I do not have to do it anymore, I will stop, and I will never look back.
And that actually I wanted to ask you, and this kind of plays into it. Where does this love of traditional German styles that goes so far as to wanting to only serve on draft come from for you? And like, what is your beer experience that led you to that being the thing that you are passionate about when it comes to beer?
So when you go to Germany, okay, and you drink, the first time I had German beer, right, German style beer, lager beer, whatever, was here in the United States, obviously, right, just out of a can or a bottle or whatever. And Germans these days are kind of funny in that even I do things probably a little bit more traditional than most of the places anymore, because they're very much concerned with energy cost and with, kind of streamlining some of these processes, using cylindrical chronicles, etc., things of that nature, using things they don't even actually boil anymore. They actually just strip the vapor, like a vapor stripper actually strips the DMS out of the wort without actually boiling it. And they kind of have this focus on low oxygen mashing as well, right? And the whole point of all these things is to make sure that you can drink a beer, or, like the shelf life is super long. Now, drink one of those beers here and tell me how well they did, because I'm pretty sure a German brewmaster would hang themselves if they drank that beer. Here, it is god awful, right? Like, it is, if you see a German style beer, or German beer from Germany, and it's hazy and it's one of the big breweries, it's damaged and oxidized. Like, it's a shadow of itself. And the whole idea about the kind of beers that we make, they're delicate and they should be drank on draft. And not only do I believe they should be drank on draft because of that freshness portion of it, it always worries me. I had somebody, post on Untapped that they were drinking a can that we hadn't had since May, like things like that are just horribly frustrating, from a brewer's perspective. I want you to drink that beer fresh. The other thing is, I love the idea of this place, and the places that you go to drink are places where you exchange ideas and where you do what we're doing right now, basically, right? We are in the industry, so of course we're going to talk about beer a lot, but I can tell you I find nothing more exhausting than watching people at a table and being like, is this mosaic? Like, what is the brewer trying to do here? I can't find anything more just boring than that, of just regular people. Like, why is the beer the entertainment? The entertainment should be anything else. It's the human relationships that we're talking about, right? It's your awesome job promotion, your shitty boyfriend, or like whatever it is. Like that's what you should be talking about, celebrating or commiserating with other people. And beer is just kind of there in the background to just kind of, you know, lubricate the conversation slightly. And this kind of beer, especially, you know, Helles and Pils, with low alcohol and just kind of their like blandness almost, are really good, you know, like fuel for keeping it going for a long period of time without getting too, you know, ripped up that you can't make your way home or you do something stupid. And that's what I love about fresh beer. And that's kind of my pushback against canning is, you know, sitting at home and drinking instead of drinking out with your friends and you know, having those interactions.
That's interesting. And, you know, as you're talking about that and talking about imported German beer and how well they achieve sort of stability in packaging, makes me think of years ago when we went to a local restaurant, Brauhaus Schmitz, here in Philadelphia, that was famous for having a huge menu of imported beer that you couldn't get. Some of them anywhere else in the country you couldn't find. You could only find them at this place in Philly. And we talked to the woman, Beata, who was in charge of the German importing. And one of the things she said was when she approached a lot of these breweries in Germany that were like a lot of these old school, like, this is the brewery of this town and you drink the beer in this town and that's it. And they would be like, well, no, we're not going to send our beer over to America because it's going to be crap till it gets there. It's not going to be served right. And she was very, very adamant about making sure that the process was done in such a way that it could be served on draft, poured properly, and the beer would be treated well. Which is interesting. And it's interesting also that you say about, you know, the delicacy, because I feel like when you think of lagers, you think of them being robust and long lasting beers. I feel like, so the idea that, you know, that actually like drinking a lager fresh can be just as important as drinking an IPA fresh is not something I think a lot of people think about.
I mean, is the second, you know, on draft, we had this real big, it was always my goal here to have every ounce of, you know, lager beer, of our pale lagers especially. I think Dunkel and some of the darker styles have much, you know, greater curve, you know, as far as oxidation and everything. Those dark flavors are a little bit better. I actually like Dunkel maybe a little bit aged, you know, like a month or two more so than fresh. I just think it kind of mellows out and gets a little softer. But like Helles and Pils, I was always my stated goal to have every ounce of it sold within 45 days of filter date. And now I can't, you know, and now I have less control over that, or like, you know, it's not consumed necessarily that quickly. You know, somebody might buy a 4-pack and leave it in their fridge for a month. And I would normally hardly serve beer that was that old anyways. 60 days was really, you wouldn't be able to find a pale lager of ours that was 60 days old from filter date anywhere up until this point. So, you know, always that cognizance of how like fresh, how snappy, you know, those starts to get a little bit of honey character as it oxidizes, things like that. So just kind of like in keeping up with it, you know, we're really small. It's just me and one other guy who make beer here, and we have one sales guy. Like there's not a lot of us to go around and make sure everything is perfect all the time.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're big on serving it fresh and on draft and not necessarily canning and distributing that way, do you distribute draft to bars in the area at all, or is it strictly on site?
So pre-pandemic, we were in about 40 accounts, and we are very particular about the accounts that we're in. You can only get Pils or Helles. If you have it, you have to serve it in the glass. So if you go to a bar, you will get our beer in our glass. No 6 barrels, no rotators. It is going to be a beer that you keep on tap. Those were the rules. And we try to create these partnerships with people. I think that any tap is a rotating tap if it's your worst seller, of course. You know, there's always room for a beer that's better than the last beer. And I think a lot of times we have this idea that beer always has to be new. It always has to be something else. It always. But we neglect, I think, a large portion of the population that wants to go in and just drink a beer and not think about it that much. And I think that the beers that we make are good components of that. And, you know, serving it in the glass. Look, they make 5 times as much on that keg as I do. I think by asking them to serve it the way that I want to is as a small request.
That's a good way to look at it. And I've been to places before that did not treat the beer very well when it was poured out of their lines. I can think of, I know you said earlier about places that will, have the dirty shaker glass with the beer. I was the one that sticks out, and I won't name the bar. There's a bar here in Philly that I went to, and I ordered an Allagash White, and they served it in a dirty pint glass, kind of like that. But it also, the experience of it wasn't good. It wasn't what I knew the beer could taste like. And so I wanted to not think about it because it was a common beer that anybody can get. And it was a terrible experience to the point where I didn't order that beer for a very long time because I thought for a little bit that my taste had changed or something in the beer had changed, but it was just served to me poorly. So the fact that you will make them serve it your way, the way it's designed to be served, I think that's a huge testament to the fact that you appreciate the craft of your beer and you want people to experience that no matter where they are. I think that's fantastic.
It's my life's work in a glass. You know what I mean? That's what I have. That's what I've spent my entire, I've been a brewer for 10 years now. I'm 35. That's almost a third of my life, doing this one thing. And not all of them get the pour exactly right. It's still a lot of education. It's amazing how little people know. When you get our Helles glass, it's a mug, and the Ike mark on it, the serve line on it is very low. So it actually has, an inch and a half of foam, and it's very hard to teach these bars who have just been, no look pouring, to understand that that's a 21 ounce glass. You know what I mean? You're essentially giving beer away. I don't know why you'd want to do that. And it also doesn't look very good. It doesn't look appetizing. So there's still a lot of education when it comes to that. But, I got tired of going around town and seeing the beers that I had worked so hard on, not cared about. And it also helps, honestly, we can't make that much beer. There, 40 accounts is nothing. How many bars are there, right? It gives us the opportunity to really make a relationship with a place. And, we've said no before. We've had places be like, okay, well, we want it. We're not taking the glass, and be like, yeah, it's cool, man. It's your business. You can do whatever you want to with it. I don't begrudge you for making the decisions you want to with your business, but these are the decisions I've made for mine. And it's cool. I'll go there, drink a beer, whatever, but that's fine. We just don't have our beer on tap there. And sometimes you just have to be willing to say no. Again, it's that no word that people are afraid of. They're afraid of making people mad. And I look at it as, protecting the thing that I've worked so hard on. And that's why you just go, look, it's just not a good fit. And eventually, it's amazing. Some of these places will come around because it's their favorite beer and they're tired of going somewhere else to have it. So sure enough, there it shows up in a Pils glass. And we've done a good job. We co-logo glassware. I'm totally down with that. We're partners in this. And we want to be on tap for a long time, and that we're willing to make the things happen that need to happen in order to do that.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned the whole no thing. It seems to be a theme so far because you definitely want people to experience it the way it should be experienced and not compromise that. Anecdotally, I used to work for a retail company, and I worked in a couple different of their locations. And when I first started, the motto was always get to yes, get to yes, get to yes. Find a way to get to yes. And then I transferred to another location, and my new manager was like, nah, fuck it, just say no sometimes. You need to say no. It's like, all right, cool, I'll take that away, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
I wonder, and I think the reason that people have the experiences that Dan was talking about with that Allagash White that was just served poorly, and the reason that happens is, one, because not everybody really cares about what they're drinking. Some people just want to drink.
Of course, absolutely not.
Give a shit what it tastes like, which is fine. That's you, do you. But also, I think there's a lot of pressure as, a business and a brewery to make those sort of concessions and compromises just to get your beer out there and to keep profits, keep the lights on. So has it been difficult for you to keep that level of integrity and control while still, building a profitable business? And do you think it's the quality of the product that allows you to be able to put your foot down in those circumstances?
So cute. You used brewery and profitable in the same sentence.
Especially a brewery that doesn't make 10 IPAs.
Yeah, but my price per keg is, woo, you should see those IPA or those hot prices.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been easier. At first, it was really difficult when we were new. People were like, oh, you just gotta. But the way I look at it is, a keg over my bar here is $700, right? That's what I make on it or whatever, $600 depending on the beer. Pils obviously a little more. And when I sell it for $145. Don't make anything on that. It's charity.
Right.
And I look at it for me, it's also branding and marketing, right? It's part of my marketing budget. I kind of look at it that way as well, right? So if you get it served in the glass, and a lot of people don't care, and that's fine, right? Not everybody has to care about it the way I do. And that's why I think it's also important to serve it in the glass, because people don't know what they're drinking. And if they get it in that same glass a couple of times, they like Pils or they like a Helles, right? And they get that same beer in that same glass, something starts to click, because otherwise, I mean, I can't tell you how many people look at the glass, read the name, and then just, never again think about it. Mm-hmm. So, it's part of that too. It's a way to get people to drink that beer a couple of times, even if they don't know they've ordered that beer before. By putting that glass in their hand, they go, it reminds them, and maybe that leads them back to my place. And the way I look at it too is, we can't give away glassware, so bars buy the glassware for cost. Even if you had to buy a case of glassware every time, 6 of them, every time you bought a keg, that's $18. You could probably fix your draft system and save that much in beer waste in 2 pours, honestly, right? Like, you've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just pouring the beer to just pour. Like, they're wasting 10%. And if they didn't waste 10% of that keg, and we teach them a little bit about how to handle those things. So I think it's been easier, because I think now we can be a little more picky, because the beer kind of scene is a little bit incestuous. I'm sure you guys have it the same way there, GM of this beer bar, now is the GM of this other place, and now the beer buyer this place, and they kind of like rotate around a bunch of places. So even if maybe we've come off at a different place, or we decide it wasn't a good partnership, eventually somebody, if we're going through a keg or 2 kegs a week at a place and they go to a new place, they come and approach us and say, we really want to have that beer on because I love having it. So it actually is a little bit easier now than it used to be. And we have to tell people no sometimes, like, I just don't have the beer to sell to you. And it's complicated, of course, with the whole canning thing, because I don't have as much draft beer as I used to have, and I'm not allowing people to serve our cans in bars. It's just not what we're going to do. I think it takes away from all the work we've put in over the last 4 years to really try and establish a draft presence.
Yeah, but the fact that you're willing to can and distribute beer during the pandemic, I think, is a testament to being willing to roll with the punches and keep some of the tradition alive of the style of beer, stick to your guns with what you're doing, and knowing full well that you're not going to continue it the second you don't have to. That's a testament to the fact that you're willing to do what is necessary to still get the product out there, but also the experience. And it could pay off tenfold, 20-fold down the road when people get the beer and then wind up at the brewery later on.
I already think it has. Honestly, I, of course, am very hesitant to, like, I don't love canning. I really don't. I love having canned beer, though. Like, there's nothing like a shower Helles, honestly. Yeah, and when I totally go somewhere, I don't have to fill crowlers, that are kind of shitty anyways. And I just take a case of beer. It's all, like, it's already here. It's already done. All the work's already done. So I'd be remiss to say that I hate everything about it. But I do think it has done something as far as given us a little bit more reach that we have not had before. Some of those things, like, we're pretty, like, cool in the, like, brewing world, but I think that you'd be surprised about how many people in my own backyard have no idea. I think they don't believe that that this kind of brewery can be in their own backyard. You know what I mean? You kind of like, oh, it can't be that good. It's just right around the corner from me, kind of idea. So I think it has done a little bit as far as making people respect, like, regular people respect us a little bit. I don't know why canning does that. They see it on a liquor store shelf or whatever. I mean, we were just in Craft Beer and Brewing Magazine, just got it today, as one of the 50 beers in the country that actual, like, consumers want to get their hands on, which is amazing to me.
That's awesome.
We're so little compared to, like, those big names on there. To see this little 1,800 barrel brewery a year be able to, like, be on that list is pretty cool. And I think that's partially due to the canning this year. Yeah. I can't equate it to anything else, because we've always been the same.
I think a lot of the latest wave of craft beer drinkers, for lack of a better way to put it, are really about being able to, like, Instagram their beer. So, like, having a can that they can put next to the glass when they take that picture and post. I think.
Are you calling me out right now?
Well, I mean, but you're old school, Steph. You've been doing it forever.
It's true.
But, like, I think of, like, the Breweries in PA, a Facebook group, a local group here where we live, and that's, they love to take their pictures of those cans, and they do the thing where they put the can, like, on the side of the glass.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand that.
No.
I won't do that.
That's weird.
No, but you're right. It's all about the likes and the shares, and there's a lot involved. A friend of mine that I work with has a separate Instagram just for beers, and I didn't realize it was him at first. I thought it was just like some other shitty person trying to be an influencer, and then I find out no, it's him, and now like it means something. But I saw one of his posts before we started recording. So you're right. They're out there, and they want to get the beer. They want to have it at home. They want to display it and see what they can do. And I think it is because of the canning that you would be on that list for sure. Yeah. And I really hope that it winds up meaning that people will come to the brewery at some point and experience it the way you mean it to be served and to live it, you know?
Yeah. It's not the same. You know, it is, I'm happy with the quality of canning. I'm happy with the beer in the can. If I wasn't, then I wouldn't sell it. And I'm happy, honestly, you know, Crowlers, they were fine. They were fine to like take home and drink that day, but they're just not, they don't have the integrity that, you know, a real canning line does when you're getting sub 30 ppb dissolved oxygen and things like that, and getting the right carbonation. Carbonation stays tight on it. So, you know, it's fine. I think we'll be doing it for 2 years. And I hope I'll be done by then.
Yeah, I think that's a fair outlook on it.
Yeah. So my
partner got a promotion. So he's my husband / partner / other brewer, but he does like, I do most of the work, you know. He's just kind of there.
Do most of the work.
Yeah. But I've like promoted him to packaging manager. So like, you're getting a promotion.
I love that you get to
I'm gonna be head brewer, and I'm gonna make you packaging manager and delivery driver. Boom.
Wow.
It's not a promotion.
Yeah, I think also you still get to take out the trash. So there you go. It's all good.
So I'm already halfway through my Hellas, but I do want to talk about the glassware from Bierstadt.
I love that you have it, by the way.
I love it. Well, and I don't know if you're familiar with the guys from Human Robot in Philly, but your glassware at Bierstadt actually inspired their line of glassware. I should have brought
fantastic.
They have the same Pilsner glass that you guys use with their logo on, and they actually, you know, researched very deeply where you got your glassware printed and all this, and went to the same supplier, and they were very inspired by your glassware. But I proudly have a set of Bierstadt glasses, but I want to talk about which you already mentioned about getting the accounts to use your glassware. But talk about specifically why these style glasses for these beer styles.
Yeah, for sure. So all of our beers have a different glass. As you'll notice on the cans and stuff like that, I didn't send you any Dunkel because we're out right now. I'm canning it Monday. But all of our core brands, Pils, Helles, and Dunkel have different glasses. So traditionally in Germany, you probably would get a Dunkel in like a mug, which is all right. I kind of like, the glass we have for that is called the Germania. They're all Somm glasses from Germany. And I just love how, do you have that one? But I love how it has like an inside twist to it. Yeah, it has this like really cool, it's not a very impressive glass when you see it like on a picture, but as soon as you have one in your hand, I love that your hands around it, and like with a beer like Dunkel can stand to be warmed up a little bit, and you can really like, you know, take nice hearty sips of it. So I just like really love the idea of like that big glass with like the facets inside of it. There's a lot of little details to it. Then the Helles mug, which Helles probably pretty typically served in a Willebecker style, which is kind of like similar to the Dunkel glass, only it kind of tapers in at the top. But I love the idea of like, I think drinking out of a mug is just like, I think it just means you're like serious about drinking. Like I took more of the Czech approach on that, you know, kind of idea is that like putting it in a mug, like the way it hits the table, you know, after you're done drinking it, it kind of is similar to like when you have a Moss. So the liter, that's a half liter style. Just the idea of like just having a handle that your whole hand fits in, you know, not just like two little fingers. Like the idea that you can either hold it, you know, with your hand on it or with the style, put your whole face in it and take a big, you know, sip of it. And like the carbonation stays in it really nicely and that big foam top to it. The Pils is probably the glass we're obviously most known for. That has kind of a storied history. My partner, Bill, he actually was looking at that glass about 7-8 years ago. It's called the Nova. It's also a Somm. It's a 0.3 liter. and it was in the Somm catalog, and he asked about it, and he's like, "Oh, this glass is totally fire." He didn't say that because he's a lot older than me. He's probably like, "This glass is amazing." So he's a lot older than me, so I have to like rag on him a little bit for that. So he's like, "I want this glass. Like, it's totally neat. Like, I want it." And they're like, "Actually, we don't have that glass. We just want to show you what Somm is capable of." You're like, "I'm sorry, you put a glass in your catalog that you actually can't buy."
And wait,
Sweet.
and to show you what they're capable of, that, but they're not actually.
Yeah, like this
capable
is
of
the
selling it
techno.
to.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, anyways, fast forward a couple years to another place. Asked about it again, the same glass. Like, it was still in the catalog, like 5 years ago, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't have that glass." Still.
Wow.
Okay, so fast forward to when we were going to open this place. He's like, "I'm going to ask one more time." We had a backup glass that we were going to use for pills, another 0.3 as well. I like the size of it. And he asked again. They're like, "Actually, we have it. We made, 6,000 of them." I'm like, "Well, cool, we'll take them all." So we bought every single last one of them. That's no joke. We bought every glass they had, decorated that way. The 0.3 with the stem. So Pils is probably, what the Germans would consider, and I would consider, the most delicate beer we have. So the stem and the of it is so the beer doesn't warm up over time. So it maintains its temperature from top to bottom. Also, just like the fragility of the glass, we like to joke that it's made out of butterfly wings. You could like blow on it and it might break. Also, it's kind of robust too. I've seen them bounce, but I've also seen them like look at it wrong and it crack, which is kind of amazing. So, all those like the elements were really important in it. But we bought every single last one of them. And about 2 years ago at the CBC, we were like running out, and they weren't going to make them anymore. They said, "We're not making these anymore." We had every single glass of it ever made. And so actually Michael Somm, the owner of Somm Glass, was here during CBC, walking around, and there were hundreds of people here. Oh, I don't know, like hundreds. It was so packed. It was kind of amazing. And every single person was, carrying around a Somm glass. And most people were carrying around a Pils glass. And he agreed to print or to make 30,000 more of them. So with the idea that we bought 16,000 of them. Wow. So I have 16,000 of those glasses here, and the moment I can, I'm going to buy the rest of them. But COVID has made that a little bit more difficult because our glassware bill is rather high. If you can, do the math on $3 plus shipping per glass.
Yeah.
There you go. So pretty hefty glassware bill. But it was the reason when they were here is the reason why they decided to print them again was because of us.
That's cool.
So it's pretty cool that, because it was really tied into all our marketing, so I kind of really didn't have another. Kind of starting to freak out there a little
really
bit.
need this, yeah.
Little shit in the pants a little bit, like, oh, what do we do?
I've never bought 16,000 of anything.
Yeah, I know, seriously. Grains of rice.
Yeah, probably. They don't price them that way though, fortunately.
They
That's
should.
good.
You'd feel like you're getting a deal then.
That's fantastic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, that's like the whole glassware.
I feel like we touched on it. We talked about the canning a lot. This is, and I think, like, unfortunately, we just have to recognize that this is now a recurring segment on the podcast that we should call COVID Corner, where we talk about
where you cry yourself to sleep.
Yeah. Well, no, we talk about how you've been dealing with everything that's come along. Now, obviously, we're not super familiar with like the sort of regulations and things that have been going on out there in Colorado, but I assume it's pretty similar across the board for small businesses, particularly breweries. I know it forced you to kind of pivot into canning, which you did reluctantly. But what other sort of struggles, and solutions have you guys come up with?
I think this is where things get like pretty serious, I guess. It's not good. It's bad. Yeah. Everything is bad. I'm not going to like sugarcoat it. We're down over $1 million in revenue. Canning, while helps us go through beer, is not a moneymaker, not like at the volume that we do it. it's kind of like riding a JetBlue flight, you know, like you think you can get in a can for a certain amount of money, but as it turns out, if you want a label that sticks to it, a box that fits it, and a way to carry it around, that's all costs money on top of that, plus the mobile canning price. So it is not a profitable endeavor. It does help us, like I said, keep beer fresh, make some money, you know, a little bit of more revenue, and things like that. We are at a daily high right now. Regulations just locked down again on Denver. No more than 5 people at any gathering, which is kind of interesting. We have a pretty big indoor space, which is good, but we are at 50% or 50 people maximum. And our place that holds 400 is now 100.
Wow.
Plus we're in Denver, which people are not coming to Denver right now. They're just not. People aren't leaving their house. They're not going anywhere. I live a 3-minute walk from here, so I'm here all the time, of course. And I love being downtown. But, you know, a lot of that revenue on the weekends, we're doing in a week what we're not even doing in a week what we'd normally do on a Saturday.
Wow.
30% of our revenue was parties. So catering, wedding. I mean, we could have a 200-person buyout downstairs and still have 200 people upstairs. So it was a really big portion of the way, you know, we built out a gigantic space, and it is definitely, I don't know what's going to happen. Pretty freaked out about everything, all the things that we would put our, you know, life's work. We don't have anything, you know, Bill and I have nothing after this, which is, I promise I won't cry. But we have nothing after this. Like, we've worked really hard, and now to be 5 years in, having to go back to what it was at the beginning, you know, we're really struggling, and Bill's delivering beer again. And like, he's an older guy, he's 58, you know, he's delivering beer. I'm working my butt off. I don't have, you know, I have kind of an assistant, but not really. And we're all, my other business partner who runs the restaurant portion of this is working in the kitchen once a week. You know, it's all things that we have to do. I think the most difficult portion of it, though, is not really knowing if there's another side of this, if we will get through it. Like, I think anybody, you know, you can put your head down. Like, I can put my head down and work. You know, we work 30-hour brew days. I do it once every 2 weeks. You just put your head down, get to the grind. You know it's going to be over. And at the end of the day, you're going to have 90 barrels of Hellas, right? Like, you did something, you worked hard at it, you made it, and you saw something on the other side. And the whole problem with this is you don't know if there's another side. You don't know if your landlord's going to be lenient. You don't know if there's another round of money coming in. I mean, we just have huge bills. We have a huge place, and we were really starting to make a dent in some of those things. This is supposed to be a really good year for that. And it's definitely sobering, and there's no really way to escape it either. You know, my husband and I both work here, and we always agree that only one of us can have a bad day. You like look at each other and you're like, hey, this is my bad day. Like, You're gonna have to shut the fuck up, and I get to like be angry, and I get to be like mad, and I get to be like, damn it, dog, stop barking. You know, like, I get to be like burning the food. Like, only one of us gets that at one time, but there's just no relief. It's every day is monotony, and every day is the same, and every day you're just trying to like get a little victory. And the new normal is, oh, we did, you know, $1,200 today. Like, that's good. Like, that's good, right? Like, and you know, I hate to be like a downer like that, but I think the problem is just not seeing another side, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing, you know, my parents are invested in this. Like, we don't have money. Like, we took out an SBA loan. Like, we work it every day ourselves, the 3 of us. We are the people responsible for it, and we are here every day, and we have employees that we're responsible for, and just worried we're not going to be able to do that like anymore, you know, and hopefully this will refinance our SBA loan, and maybe we'll be able to take out more money so we can actually buy our own canning line, which will be more profitable, so we can actually put in new lager tanks, so we can put in an actual outdoor patio, so that we can put in new bathrooms, so that we can, you know, do all these things so we have streams of revenue again. So it's kind of just it's the waiting, just like the waiting for somebody else to make a decision about how you're going to do, you know, how you're going to be better, how you're going to be able to, you know, exist anymore.
I feel like there's been a lot. I mean, here in Pennsylvania with the regulations on businesses, I think are always obviously well-intentioned. Like, I don't fault our local.
Neither do I. Absolutely not.
I feel like they're doing the best they can in a very strange spot. but the communication and the constant like changing, where like one day it's one thing and the next day and you don't know, and it's also because nobody knows what's going to happen. Like, you know, as far as talking about you know, the virus and the pandemic itself, like we're starting to see another spike come around. Like, how is that going to play out? Holidays are coming out. A lot of places are relying on outdoor service, and now it's going to start getting colder. I mean, you're in Colorado. You said it was 32 degrees there. Like, people
32 degrees. Yeah, our outdoor patio that we kind of makeshifted together is now, you know, kind of useless. But Colorado, at least, you know, we'll have some good days in between there. I've heard some rumblings that will be closed again for dine-in November. At the end of November, and we'll only be to go. I mean, it's not sustainable. I can't, you know, that's not a sustainable model for us. And I don't begrudge anything. Like, look, the unfortunate thing is, and I think what people have to understand is, we're all responsible for this. And look, if I have to lose everything so that this thing gets better, like, I guess that's the social contract, and it sucks, but here we are. But I want everybody to like feel that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want everybody to feel like the government's just doing the best they can with the information.
Like, everybody to feel like that we're all human beings living in the same society, and we should try to do things to help.
Such a novel idea.
Here and just like yell at our bartenders, you know what I mean? Because they don't want to wear a mask. Like, you think I want to make rules? You know, people love when they drink. They love rules. They're like, ooh, give me more rules, please.
Yeah.
Like, that's
you like to say no, but only when it comes to how the beer is.
You have to drink the slow pour Pilsner while standing on one foot and reciting the ABCs.
Yeah, I'm good with that rule.
That rule's fine.
Like, you can't look at somebody's direction without, you know, breathing. Like, it's hard. It's just hard. And you want to be responsible. Like, what is our responsibility? We are at a place, right? Should we be open past 10? I don't know. That's when things happen, right? Like, you are drinking. Your inhibitions are, you know, lower. And we are in Denver, so we are under a much tighter scrutiny than some of the, you know, places around us and neighborhood bars. And, you know, they come around and look at us, what we're doing, you know, because we're so big and we're right in Denver. So some of the outer places, you know, that aren't taking it seriously and are doing just fine. You know, there's a bar that we used to sell beer to, and we've decided not to sell beer to them anymore because of how they've taken COVID, even though we could sell. They had their best summer by double. Yeah. In the mountains, and we're like, we are struggling right now, but they don't have any regulations, and they're not following any regulations. So it's just all those things. Radar. Yeah, you know, I think the landlord thing is getting crazy, like, without getting too political and stuff like that. But I don't know. We just don't know, and that's the frustrating part.
I think that's the overriding theme, is you just don't know.
Yeah, but it's also it's a testament to you as a business owner, as a brewer who is very confident and adamant about the way things should be experienced, but also just as a human. The fact that you're willing to take away an account because of the way they improperly responded to something that is a human issue, not just a business issue. So it's that says a lot about who you are as a person, and I truly commend you for it.
I'm good at that. I'm shitty at a lot of other things, you know. There are a lot of shitty character traits, you know, if you want to get into those too.
So we've talked many times over the last 7-8 months about what we can do as consumers to sort of help out and support the breweries that we want to see open once this whole COVID thing is over. So is there anything you would want to say to your consumers and people that want to support you besides coming and buying beer from you, and like, what else can consumers do to support you and help you guys get through all this?
Honestly, like, I saw those Cheez-Its, they look good as hell. They better be those white cheddar Cheez-Its.
Oh, they're the best.
I know.
They are.
Yes.
White cheddar Cheez-Its are the only Cheez-Its, let's be honest.
Not the extra toasted. Those are garbage. So I think that, like, from a consumer standpoint, honestly, being more vocal to legislation and things like that, letting people know that we are struggling. Like, I'm a little bit worried that because they have allowed us to be open, right, with all these regulations, that at the end of the day, they're going to be like, look, we gave you a chance. You know what I mean? But, like, not really understanding, nobody designed a business to run on a third revenue or a quarter revenue, right? Mm-hmm. So as a consumer, there's that. Going as often as you can to the source to buy your beer. Like, we sell our cans here, and it was amazing. We did a collab with Boulevard right before all this stuff happened. It was kind of a dream come true. They had a lager tank they never used, which is amazing to me. I was like, I'd love to come there and use it. They're like, really? Come on down. And we actually made like a real lager, like a 9-week, 10-week lager, like not a 28-day, you know, typical big brewery lager. We actually did everything that we had asked for and then some. It was really amazing experience. Brew with Stephen Pauls and Ryan McNeve, and the guys there. But they had distributed that beer to Colorado, and we had bought 120 cases of it. I think that's right. 60 cases, 120, something like that. Anyways, we bought that many cases of it, and they distributed it around town too. And every liquor store they distributed it to, it was gone. It was gone within a day. But we held on to it for like a month and a half, 2 months, which is amazing to me. Like you could just drive 20 more minutes and come and get it from me, you know? So like always buying it from the source as much as you can, you know, and telling, you know, places what you want to see on draft and things like that. Drinking draft beer. I know it's hard. Putting a kegerator in, like doing these things, like keep promoting it on social media. It really does help. Like there's not much we can do, but those things, at least like it also is like good to see it too. You know, those kind of little things when you see it, like, oh, they're enjoying a beer. Like that's awesome. Oh, they put in a kegerator just so they could have our beer on tap all the time. Like those things are really cool. Like even if you can't have the monetary kickback on it, you can get some of like the warm fuzzies that you used to have when you're interacting with people here at the bar. Like I love being here. I live a 3-minute walk away from here. This is my living room. I miss those interactions. And so I think, you know, those things definitely help.
Yeah, I have seen, I've noticed online, especially in like beer groups, that there has been a lot of like push to like Steph said, what can we do as consumers? And a lot of like, go to this brewery, or like this brewery's open, they're serving this, you should go get it. This brewery's delivering, you can order from them, and that sort of thing. So I feel like the craft beer drinkers out there they want to support the businesses and do what they can. And a lot of breweries have been creating new avenues to allow that support to happen, mostly through delivery and like curbside pickup and packaging and that kind of thing. Which I think is cool as an industry. Like craft beer industry has always kind of been that kind of, there's a sense of community that you don't always get with other things.
Absolutely.
And I know community doesn't necessarily pay the bills, but
you know, we didn't get into this.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part, we didn't get into this industry because we wanted to be rich. You know, we got into this industry because we like those other things. You know what I mean? I like having a lifestyle that, you know I'm never going to be loaded, but I like traveling a little bit. I like hanging out with my friends, drinking beer, and I like making beer. Like those are pretty simple things in the community aspect for sure. And it's hard because right now, like, I feel like we only talk about COVID, you know, when I'm talking to my friends, and that sucks because we used to have way more interesting things to talk about, right? Like, and we've done a couple collabs, which have been good, but, you know, you're always just kind of wary about, you know, what, you know, it's always kind of like a monkey on your shoulder. It's always like hanging back here as far as that goes. So I do miss the community, more of that, but you know, we're all trying to hang in there together. It's not good for anybody. And I was just in Austin, and it was very apparent there. It's not good there either. It's not good anywhere. So I guess there's some misery loves company, or there's commiseration and misery, or something.
At least if nothing else, you're not alone.
Yeah, exactly. If nothing else, you're not alone. That is something.
Yeah, that is something. Yeah.
We did see that you were out with Marcus brewing at Weathered Souls.
I was, yeah.
What were you guys concocting together?
We made a Schwarzbier, which I've never made before.
Very nice.
Which I was pretty pumped about doing. We both made the 40 under 40 wine enthusiast tastemakers of the year. The only two brewers to make it were him and I. And we were on John Hall's podcast, who I love John Hall, together. And then we just started chit-chatting. He wanted to do a 4-pack, mixed 4-pack for his anniversary, and he wanted to get together with brewers that he respected highly. So I came down there and made a Schwarzbier with him, and I know he made a saison with Jeffrey Stuffings at Jester King the next day. So and I don't remember what he has for the other two in the 4-pack lined up, but I thought it was a pretty cool idea, and I needed to get the fuck out of town.
Yeah.
We left on Friday.
Oh wow.
Came back Wednesday.
Wow.
So I was making like sandwiches in the front seat, got my mustard in like the cup holder, you know, like paper towels everywhere.
We
Right.
we had Marcus on back for the Black is Beautiful stuff, and he's just such a cool, open, welcoming, friendly guy.
He's 9 feet tall.
I don't think
I'm
that didn't come
5'3".
across in the video. Yeah.
I know it didn't. Like I've talked to him via Zoom, and I talked to him on the phone. And then I got there, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I come to like his belly button.
Wow.
Anyways, also really cool place. Cool staff. They were super hospitable. Had a great day there. We got a chance because CBC this year was canceled, so we didn't get to go down to Texas. We actually stopped in Austin on the way down and went to Live Oak, which I had never been to. I know those guys pretty well. I'm friends with Dusan and Chip there. So we get to go there. Went to ABGB, which I had never been to, and to Jester King. So we got to go to some pretty cool outdoor beer drinking places. I have the bug bites to prove it. We don't have those here in Colorado. So yeah, it was really good. It was a really good trip.
Very cool.
Man, I want to get my hands on that 4-pack.
Yeah.
I know, right?
That'll be
Probably be out
amazing.
the beginning of December, I think. Yeah.
Road trip. So all I need is bread and mustard, and I can drive to Texas. Is that what you're telling me?
That's all it takes.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I have not driven. Okay. I used to drive across the country a lot. I went to school in Asheville, North Carolina, but I'm from Denver. So I used to drive back and forth like 4 times a year, driving on back roads and stuff like that. Nothing is like driving in Texas. Like 75 miles an hour on a 2-lane highway through a neighborhood where I got to pass trucks at another car coming 75 miles an hour towards me. Like,
Wow.
it was something. I was like, this is yeah, I don't even know. But we made it and we're back. So
That's awesome. Should we play a game?
I was gonna say, yeah, we got into a little
definitely.
bit of bummer territory there.
I did.
Luckily, we lifted ourselves back out of it.
That's
We
true.
did,
This
we
is true.
did.
I had to pour beer in a mug because
That's
you said
good,
drink it out of a
you know.
mug. It's
Oh, was that your Shatner mug?
it's a William Shatner mug
Yeah.
because of course it
I'm
is.
drinking out of a can. I never drink out of a can when I'm here at the brewery, but they're busy out there and I don't have like a call button. You know.
I'm going to drink the Oktoberfest out of the Dunkel glass. Is that acceptable?
That's perfect. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that's acceptable.
Is that okay?
I'm drinking an Oktoberfest too.
Oh, God.
nice.
Yay! It's a good
Oktoberfest.
game-playing beer, I guess.
It is.
I
Oh,
like
I'm
it.
drinking for this game the 2SP Delco Lager.
Oh, nice. If
Which
we're
I
going
think is a
if we're
good
going around
thing.
the horn, I'm drinking PBR.
Oh, you cracked the
you go.
PBR.
Finally,
Nice.
yeah, I'm going for those. I don't want to. I only have Black is Beautiful beers
I was
left.
just going
I
to say,
think.
to be fair, all the beer in the beer fridge there is Black is Beautiful.
Both
beers, and they're
of
all
the
at
beer
10%.
fridges are all 10% and over. So it's macro beers from here on out.
They'll definitely change the trajectory of the evening.
Oh, for sure, for sure, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, we should play a game. So Wayne,
Let's play a game.
what is? Oh, there's a delay on the new iPad. I got to use to
Get
that.
used to the new iPad.
Shit.
Well, cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games. This is, of course, the podcast trivia segment that loves to say no. Today, since we are talking to Ashley from Bierstadt, and they're well known for their traditional Reinheitsgebot conforming beers, I thought, what better game to play than There's Weird in My Beer, which is all about beers that are the complete opposite, that have weird, strange, crazy things in them. So our listeners know how this game works, but if you're just tuning in for the first time, and for the sake of Ashley here, I will tell you briefly how it goes. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a beer. It has a weird ingredient in it, or it's trying to emulate some weird kind of food stuff. I'm going to give you multiple choice options as to what that is. I'm going to go around the horn. Everybody's going to give me a guess, and the winner gets bragging rights. The loser gets to go home in shame.
Stay home in shame.
We'll stay home in
Right,
shame,
yeah.
Well, we used to do this whole thing where the loser got punished in a bonus segment that we filmed and put on Patreon, but because we can't meet in person anymore, we haven't been doing that. So this is the best time to lose. Happy Fun Time Games. Once COVID's over, you guys better
on?
watch your backs. Yeah, losing is going to have consequences again.
Once
But it's
COVID's
a-
over, when we get to record in person at Bierstadt.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, losing has no consequences other than a bruised ego. So we're going to start in time-honored tradition to my left, virtually, with Dan, our first
hey.
beer of the game. And we start off with a beer that is actually from across the pond by Eagle Brewery in Bedford, United Kingdom. You may be familiar with their more popular flagship beer, Wells Banana Bread Beer.
Oh yes, I am
Yeah,
very
well,
familiar
it's
with
the same
that
brewery
beer.
that makes that. But they also offer another ale inspired by a treat that sticks to British tradition. Is that bread pudding, sticky toffee pudding or figgy pudding?
Sticky toffee pudding.
Dan is saying sticky toffee pudding. Steph, what do you think?
I will also say sticky toffee pudding.
All right, agreeing with Dan. And finally, Ashley.
I'm gonna go figgy pudding because that sounds way cooler. I don't even know what it is.
All right, fair enough. But it is wrong. It is sticky toffee pudding.
I've had that beer and it's good.
Oh, you've had it? Nice.
Yes.
Well, sticky toffee pudding ale pays homage to Britain's famed dessert. Now, if you don't know what it is, it consists of a moist sponge cake made with finely chopped dates covered in a toffee sauce. The beer emulates the dessert with the use of molasses, allowing for rich flavors of toffee and caramel with hints of butterscotch and hazelnut, while avoiding a cloying sweetness through the balance of English hops.
I like the dramatic read.
I know, right?
But what is figgy pudding?
I don't know. It's a song, isn't it?
It's from a
Maybe
Christmas
some
Carol.
figgy
We brought some
pudding.
figgy.
Give us some figgy pudding? I don't know.
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah,
Or
give
like-
us some
like-
figgy pudding.
Like the actual words are like,
some
give it
figgy
to us right
pudding.
now or we're going to like kill you and your family or something. It's
Oh,
kinda
Jesus.
crazy.
It sounds very 2020.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I think it's made from figs.
Fun fact, the infamous Acme is where I got the toffee pudding.
Oh, okay. You know, of all the people playing the game right now, Dan, I would most expect you to have had this beer before.
Yeah, I had a phase.
Yeah. Well, you were really into the banana bread beer for a while.
I'm still kind of into it, and I haven't had it in a while.
Hey, you do you. Well, we're moving on now to another beer, and Steph is going to guess first on this one. We go from a classic British dessert to a popular American snack. Next up, a sour ale from Martin House in Fort Worth, Texas. It is a taproom exclusive and was engineered to be the liquid version of a snack that caught fire in the 80s and is still around today. Is it Red Hot's cinnamon candy, Pringles smoky barbecue chips, or Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
Flamin' Hot Cheetos were not around in the 80s.
That's a good point.
Is that your answer?
That's a very good point.
No, I'll say was the middle one barbecue potato chips?
Yeah, Pringles.
Pringles, right? Yeah.
Specifically.
I'm gonna go with the Red Hots.
Going with the Red Hots. All right, Ashley, Red Hots, barbecue chips, or Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
I'm gonna go Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
All
Even though
right,
I don't know
same.
it's 80s either, but I feel like I've seen this beer.
All right.
I have a
Fair
thread on my phone that probably has this beer in it.
enough. Nice. Dan, what do you think?
I'm going to say Red Hots.
All right, saying Red Hots. Well, Ashley is correct. It is Flamin' Hot Cheetos. It is Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
They were out in the 80s?
We're going to get to that in a second. First, let me tell you about the beer. The beer is called Fiery Crunchy Cheesy
Oh.
I love it. It's a 5.2% ABV sour beer brewed with Cheetos Flamin' Hot snacks. Likeness to the Fiery Finger Stainers must have been spot on, as Frito-Lay actually allowed them to use the name and the likeness of the product on the label, so they got the blessings of the company.
When you Google Flamin' Hot Cheetos, one of the things that people ask is, can eating hot Cheetos kill you?
Probably. Anything could kill you. I
No,
mean,
but it can destroy your gallbladder.
There you go. There you go. So here we go. The origin story of Flamin' Hot Cheetos is actually kind of interesting. So did you know Flamin' Hot Cheetos were invented by a then janitor?
They were invented in 1976.
At
Really?
the Frito-Lay
Jesus.
Corporation. Yeah, Richard Montañez was a child of Mexican immigrants, got a job as a janitor at a California Frito-Lay plant. And the company was struggling, and he came up with the idea that they needed a product to appeal to the Latino market. And he pitched it to the CEO. They really appreciated his initiative. They made the product, and the rest is history. So they've been around
hold
for a
on.
while.
Hold on. They
Nope.
did not get the green light for national release until 1992.
National release.
Yeah.
But they
Just-
existed.
Apparently they existed in Texas, though, if they made a beer about it.
Well, the beer was recent.
Okay, yes, but you were saying it was an 80s snack.
The snack, yes.
Is that in the description of the beer from the Texas brewery?
No.
It's your description.
It's my description because my research shows
Hearsay.
that this janitor came up with the idea in the late 1980s. Who knows?
Oh, he came up with the idea in 1976, and it was
Well, that-
green light for national distribution in 1992. I'm fact checking your game right now.
That's fine. That's fine.
I love that.
I just couldn't believe they were around in the 80s. I was shocked. I thought they
Yeah,
were
well, I
pretty
didn't. I thought they were
new.
fairly new too. I mean, they've only been like super popular for a little while. Like, wasn't there like a donut or something that was made with Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
Bagel.
I don't know.
Bagel. Yeah.
Bagel, that was it. There was a bagel. So there you go. Either way, regardless
Sorry,
of
I
when
was
they
wrong.
were
It doesn't
invented,
matter.
how, where, or why, that's what was in this beer. And Ashley was the only one who said it, so she gets the point.
Good job, Ashley.
Speaking of Ashley, we're moving on, and you get to guess first on our next beer. And the next beer is a collaboration between the well-known Oscar Blues and another well-known maker of household pantry staples. It's a semi-tart tropical wheat beer infused with citrus fruit, which is there to complement the condiment that is also in the beer. Is it?
I could just say it right now.
Oh.
Wait.
But I'll let you. Yeah, I mean.
Well, because I feel like if you know it without the options, you should get a bonus point. Does anybody else know it without the options?
No, but I say whatever she says as my answer.
I say whatever she says too.
See, now I don't know how to handle this because I want to give her a bonus point for knowing, but that means if she says it, you guys are just going to copy her answer.
I'll cover my ears.
Okay, wink, wink. Everybody take your headphones off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Well, I'll give you the multiple choice. I believe
I'm pretty
you.
sure. Like,
Is
what
it-
if I sunk everybody's ship? That makes us all 1 and 2. What about that? You don't know. This might be one of my shitty character traits y'all don't know about.
It could be. It could be. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the multiple choice, and if you're correct, I'm going to give you a bonus point on faith that you knew the answer without hearing the options. Now, is it French's mustard, Heinz ketchup, or Hellman's mayonnaise? Dan, why don't you guess
Mustard.
first? Oh, she's saying mustard.
I mean,
All right.
I actually
I
was
just
going to
said
say
it.
mustard
Mustard.
too because it feels.
I already said it. I
feels
yelled it. I was
familiar.
pumped.
It's correct. It's mustard. French's
Yay!
mustard.
I feel like I
specifically.
might have reported on this at some point.
That's what I was just going to say. I feel like we've actually talked about this
Yeah.
on the show because it's fairly recent. So French's Mustard Beer, which is what it's called, by Oscar Blues,
Oh
was a limited
shit!
time.
No, I remember seeing the fucking Facebook articles and shit about it. This was like last year.
No, it wasn't. It was this
No,
year.
it's pretty.
Was it this
like,
year?
recent.
It was
Yeah.
August. It
I
was
mean-
actually on. It was released on National Mustard Day 2020.
How the hell was that only this year?
Yeah.
To be fair, I know a gal who works at Oscar Blues in what do you call it, in production. So
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, like in sales and marketing, somebody who brokered this actual deal
yeah,
with the mustard. National Mustard Day, which is, if you didn't know, the first Saturday in August, which in 2020 happened to be August 1st. So it's a wheat beer. It's got a bunch of fruit. There's a video on their website that shows the brewing process. Anyway, if you're curious, the fruit is added during fermentation. The mustard, the plain yellow mustard, is added post-fermentation in the bright tank.
it's
And
horrifying.
It is horrifying,
Like,
but
like mustard or like
yeah, like
powdered
mustard. No, like
Squeeze it
in
from
the
the
video.
bottom.
Can you
It's just
imagine
jars
just,
of
like-
French's mustard.
Like
Squeezing
mustard
it?
seed. Yeah, mustard seed would be good.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
you
there's
know.
been other beers that have been made with mustard seed.
But like
that
one of
actually
those like
taste pretty good.
bags, like you know what I'm talking about, like at the fucking like what is it? Like a sports thing that we used to go to, sports. There's
When
like
sports
those bags
were-
they put in the squeezy thing. You could go up there and go.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Pump
yeah.
it
the
in there like
yeah.
150.
Yeah. Yeah. It was that kind of mustard. Guys, if you want to recreate, I mean, you have an entire brewery at your disposal, but they've also published a homebrew recipe available on their website at Oscar Blues. So if you want to brew it yourself, it's there. So yeah, it was mustard. Everybody gets a point. Ashley gets a bonus point because I do believe her that she knew it ahead of time. We're swinging back around the horn. Dan is going to guess first on this one. This is our second to last beer, and our last two beers in this game actually both come from a recent virtual Weird Beer Fest
Oh shit!
that was held by Mobcraft Brewing in Milwaukee. So participants in this fest got a package that, along with swag and some other goodies, had a 4-pack of strange beers with some snack food that was meant to be paired with the beers. So our last two beers of the game come from this 4-pack. First fermented fascination of the fest is a sour ale that was paired with Korean barbecue jerky and was inspired by a Korean food staple. Now, Dan, was that ox bone soup, udon noodles, or kimchi?
Kimchi.
Dan is going with the kimchi. Steph, what do you think?
I'm also gonna say kimchi.
All right, agreeing with kimchi. Ashley, agree or disagree?
I'm gonna have to go with kimchi too.
Everybody saying kimchi. Everybody is correct. It was kimchi. The beer was called Kimchi Low Funk, and that's funk spelled with a lowercase p and a capital H.
Oh, I get it.
Funk, PH, yeah. Sour beer, funny. It was made with salt, chili powder, ginger, and garlic in an effort to emulate the traditional Korean dish, which is salted and fermented vegetables like cabbage or radish, made with a widely varying array of seasonings.
I would try that.
Beer. It could be okay. It could be all right.
I'd have a sip.
This last one, I'm not so sure of. But before we get to that, I'm going to go through the scores real quick. Now, here's the thing. We would currently have a German Sparkle Party with everybody at 3 points. However, Ashley got that bonus point, so she actually has 4. So she is leading the pack with 4 points. Dan and Steph each have 3. Now, as is tradition, we let the person with the lowest points guess last on the last question, since that is Dan and Steph. I'm just going to let Ashley go first and then go Steph and Dan. So, Ashley, you're first to guess on this one, also from that same fest. Our final beer is an Oktoberfest lager with savory additives designed to evoke the taste of a microwavable food that has been keeping kids temporarily satiated for nearly a century. Or maybe the 70s, and Steph will tell me I'm wrong. I don't know. Is it Kraft mac and cheese, Chef Boyardee pasta, or Totino's pizza rolls?
Oh, man. I kind of want to say pizza rolls, but I love pizza rolls. I'm going to go Chef Boyardee. Like, it really, I don't know.
It speaks
we'll
to
go
you.
with that. It speaks to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I just can imagine slurping those little gelatinous pasta things.
Gelatinous pasta things. I'm writing that one down.
Yeah.
Gelatinous pasta things. All right, so Steph, you are up next to guess. What do you think? Mac and cheese,
Okay, well,
Chef Boyardee, or pizza rolls?
Since she said that, and my only chance to even tie is for her to be wrong and me to be right, I'll say I really don't think. I don't know. Pizza rolls. I don't know. I'll say Kraft macaroni and cheese.
All right, Steph going with the mac and cheese. Finally, Dan.
Shit. Well, I was going to say the mac and cheese, but I feel like I need to strategize and to hold my own at a chance to tie. I'm going to say pizza rolls, even though I know it's probably wrong.
All right, so everybody all over the place, I will tell you that running away with the victory is Ashley, because it was Chef Boyardee.
Oh!
Yes, an Oktoberfest was made with mushrooms, tomato, and a blend of herbs.
Okay, I have a question. Is it really an Oktoberfest?
At that point, no, it's not really. It's
Words
not.
have meaning, do they not?
Yeah.
No,
Apparently
not
not.
anymore.
Have meaning. I will tell you what has meaning names, and I'm going to tell you the name of this beer because I love
Okay.
it. The name of this beer is Chef Boy Are You Drunk? That's what it's called. It was paired with, if anybody's interested, Bloody Mary flavored popcorn.
Ah.
Yes, and I do have one more. Did you know? Although Steph might Google it.
Oh,
and prove me
stop it.
wrong. Chef Boyardee was founded by Italian immigrant Hector Boyardee. It was spelled more Italianly than the brand that we're familiar with. In Milton, Pennsylvania, in 1938. Yeah. So he had the idea when customers at a restaurant he owned in New York kept asking for his spaghetti sauce, and he began to sell it in milk bottles and eventually turned
Question.
it into a company.
When
Hold
you were
on,
reading the question,
1938?
you said,
That wasn't a century
did
ago.
you say for over a century or almost?
I said nearly
nearly.
a century.
Okay. I mean, an 18-year swing. I don't know if that qualifies as
Nearly.
nearly.
I mean, my brew house was made in 1932, which is older than Chef Boyardee.
Whoa!
nearly
All
a
right.
century
All right.
And by the way, do you think that Chef Boyardee is now rolling around in his grave because of what they've
Because of
done
the
to
beer?
poor Chef Boyardee?
I mean, have you had Chef Boyardee though? I
It's
love
bad.
it.
It's like-
I'm almost 40 and I still eat the shit. Like I buy it all the time.
It's like what they did to poor Colonel on KFC, those commercials. Like,
Oh,
poor guy, like, they just saw, like, it. Poor guy. Had an idea,
Poor
he
Boyardee.
ruined it.
Yes, but it's made in Pennsylvania. It started in Pennsylvania. So there you go. So that's the end of the game. And adding up the scores real quick here, no surprise. Winning the game with 5 points, including your bonus points, is Ashley. Coming in just behind, tied at 3 points apiece, Steph and Dan. So there we go.
I'll take it.
Another happy fun time games segment up and down. And this is, of course, the part of the podcast where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon. And we would like to thank you very sincerely by name, starting with Dana.
I would whoop Yoda's ass.
There it is. Sean Sullivan,
I love games.
PA Brew Review.
I'm getting a lot of wood.
Topher Simmons.
I love the taste that's still in my mouth.
Poor Man's Brewing Company.
I love your huge cock.
Wow, okay. Don't remember that one. Jill Chivers.
Mama said foosball the devil.
James Lambert.
I have a ball that's this big coming at my face, you know?
Eric Dixon.
I've just been using my nose, not my mouth nose.
Jen McDonald.
Shit balls.
Brian Mills.
I'm so fancy. You didn't even know?
Ron McDonald.
It's literally full of couches.
And Joe Mansell.
Hell yeah.
And we would like to give a special honorary shout out to a brand new patron. Not at the level to be shouted out on the podcast on a regular basis, but because he just signed up. A good friend of my girlfriend Jess, who we spent some time with in Chicago recently. Matt Miller works at Goose Island, actually. Really cool dude. And while we were out there hanging out, he signed up and became a patron. So thank you, Matt. But if you want to find out how you can join the list, support the podcast.
You can't really stick your whole thumb in there.
Stick your whole thumb in there. You can go to patreon.com/beerbusters to learn more. But I guess this is the part. What do we do next?
I'm going to pause and save.
Pause and save and pay the tab.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
Hey, Siri. What is Tagalog?
I found something on the web about what is Tagalog. Check it out.
Thanks. I was hoping you were going to be a little more articulate. Apparently, it's a language. Do you want to learn how to speak it? Well, if you do, Rosetta Stone can help. They set the standard in learning to enable people to change their world by learning a new language through innovative, technology-driven language learning solutions used by thousands of schools, businesses, and even the government. Millions of people around the world have learned to speak new languages with Rosetta Stone. They have common stuff like English, Spanish, and Mandarin. They also have more obscure languages like the aforementioned Tagalog, Swahili, and Swedish. They have apps available on iOS and Android, so you can take your learning with you. Also, for listeners of Beer Busters, they are offering a 24-month subscription for less than $8 per month. To get in on that offer, you can go to rosettapodcast.com/beerbusters. 2 years of Rosetta Stone, less than $8 a month at rosettapodcast.com/beerbusters.
I think I'm going to try to text and get myself a beer. Maybe that'll help. Text the bar.
Oh, no, dude. It's kind of sad when you own the place and you can't get yourself a beer.
I am, but they're helping somebody, and I didn't want to wait. So, and let me be clear. I could say, don't be on your phones, but I'm going to guess they're going to get this text.
Oh.
That's interesting. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I know. There you go.
Boss wants a beer. Do I let her know I was on my phone and get her a beer? Or do I pretend I didn't notice because I wasn't on my phone while I was working?
Yeah, well, luckily I'm not directly their boss. I mean, if they fuck up, yes, I'm their boss. But, for the most part, my other business partner assesses all punishment in that realm, so.
Nice.
Can you pour me a pills?
Nope. I was just going to say, but Dan's back now. I was going to be like, oh, Dan's gone. We don't know if it's actually recording or not.
No, it is. I figured I would need to.
I feel like the text should be, can you pour me a pills? And while you're at it, can you pour me a second one?
Yeah, I like that. I'll even put a thank you.
And a smiley face.
My earphones are in the wrong ears. There we go.
Should I go 6.3 or 4.7?
6.3.
There it is. That's good because the other option was Labatt Blue.
Oh, was that pineapple chocolate thing from Cape May?
Yep.
I know. Oh, and also Jess and I recently learned on a TV show.
Are you doing what's the finger, the
Chinese finger trap?
The Chinese finger trap? Is that what she's doing?
No, apparently if you're worried about a can exploding, you shouldn't tap it on the top. You should tap it on the side.
Oh, really?
If you're worried about a can exploding, you should
buy beer from somewhere else.
I've got a lot of.
I did not because of excessive
that.
fermentation. No, because of just being shaken up is what.
Honestly, it's just habit for me to tap. I don't know where it started, but it's just something I can't kick it. I mean, I probably could.
Have you, Dan?
Also,
have you
is
sipped
it-
that yet? I
Is
wasn't
it
paying
still
attention.
called a Chinese finger trap, or is that like some name that we gave it when we were shitty? But it's actually
That's a really good
we
point.
gave when we were shitty.
Yeah, like, I mean, we're still shitty, but like, you know what I mean.
We're still shitty, but
But you know what I mean, right? Like,
I know what you mean. Yes.
that's
No,
some-
Dan, I don't think I've had that. I'm just curious if you like it.
I think we had it
Did
on
we
the
have
show.
it?
I feel like we did.
Oh, on the show?
Maybe not. No, slimy
'cause
slimy
Mark gave
sauce.
it to us.
He sent me home with this
What is it?
after the Thrice concert, beginning of the year. Hey, remember concerts?
Shut up, Dan.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like the pills?
Although there was that Menzinger's live show last
this
week,
is
week
the
before.
lager
That was
beer.
fun.
We can trade.
concerts,
Better?
sports stuff,
Yep.
Sports.
Public.
Yeah.
public.
I was supposed to go to a hockey
Not-
game on St. Patty's Day, and I'm real bummed that I couldn't.
Not cringing when you're watching TV and watching people hug. Weird. It's the weirdest thing that's
Yeah.
happened. You're like, are they allowed to do that? Is that cool?
I saw somebody shake hands recently. It was like, you might want to not do that.
Somebody sneezes, you just say bless you. Now it's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I promise I don't have COVID. You're like,
Yeah, God forbid you cough.
Not
Holy
you.
shit.
Oh, it's allergies, I promise.
I got something caught in my throat.
So we mentioned earlier in the show, and we had a very lengthy conversation about how Bierstadt is dedicated to the tradition of the lagers, but I don't really know that we got into the nitty-gritty of a timetable. How long's Bierstadt been around?
we opened officially in August of 2016.
Okay.
But we had been in this building since July of 2014, so that's how long it took us to open.
Wow, okay. When did you know that you wanted to open it? Like, when did you first formulate the idea of, like, I'm going to open a brewery that is partial to lagers, and we're gonna do that?
Pretty much. Well, my last job was not a great job. It was fine. I mean, I was a brewery, and I like making beer, but as far as like where it was and what it was a pretty shitbagger place to be. As far as people and as far as like what they believe in and being a good person and that kind of stuff. So when I had what I thought was a really good job, as soon as I got fired from that job on December 23rd, after working a 12-hour day.
Oh no.
And then them trying to deny my unemployment.
Ooh.
Anyway, so there you go. That was a while ago. It was 2012. I'm good now. But at that moment, I knew that I loved making the beers that I was making. For the most part, it was another mostly lager brew. I've always loved lager beer since I started brewing. I knew that I'm probably not good at working for anybody anyways, and that would be the way to do it. As I always wanted to be a 3 malt, 2 hop, 1 yeast brewery. Keep it simple, keep it slick, do one thing as hard as you can do one thing. So that is kind of like how it, the assumption, and I luckily have a partner that feels the same way about beer as I do. And so we kind of went head first at it together. So actually when we started the brewery, I had gotten fired and then he had quit. He was a principal in the old brewery. He quit / got fired, / got kicked out, whatever you want to call it, partnerships, We had no money. We were literally at that point sleeping. Like, I don't really like having like a TV in our bedroom. I just don't, because I don't know, it's just a habit thing. I will fall asleep on the couch though, so I don't know if that makes it any better. But we like pulled our mattress into the living room. Like we were both unemployed. We had fucking nothing. We were stay up till like 4:00 in the morning, sleep till 2, because who gave a shit? We decided to take the little bit of money that we had from his settlement, and we went to Germany and we bought a brew house. Actually, we put a down payment on a brew house with no way to pay the rest of it off. At all. What? Just the two of us went to Germany in April of 2014, saw a brew house. So we knew we were going to do it like that. We knew we had to get started on it. We thought it would make a better, investment, or people who wanted to, be a part of it if we already had a brew house. So we took all of that money, which was a very small amount of money, like 50 grand, not that much. And we just put a down payment on this brewery in Germany, a non-refundable down payment that we had no idea how we were going to pay for. I mean, I was on unemployment. We were down to like, you drank like one chicken had to last for 4 meals, I borrowed money from my dad, put all the trip on my credit card to go to Germany to look for a brew house. When we got that money from his settlement, we put it down in the brew house and then crossed our fingers.
Wow.
So what happened to that brew house?
Hold on, that's such a romantic story. I have.
It
to
really
say.
is, yeah.
So
yeah.
romantic. And that's the brew house house you're brewing on now.
Yep.
Oh.
Still there.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you meant that it was a brew house in Germany.
It was. We bought it.
It was, and now it's in Denver.
And now it's in Denver.
Oh shit. Okay. There's the connection.
They ship those things across the ocean. I don't know.
See, I was looking at it as like it's the building, it's the whole facade.
No,
okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so we found our other business partner who had a restaurant called the Rack House. He was attached to a distillery called Stranahan's, which got bought by Proximo, big company, owns like Chula and Jose Cuervo. And they kicked him out of his space. They gave him a lot more money than we got, but we decided to go to business together. And so Bill and I raised $350,000 between friends and family. And my business partner, Chris Rippey, had that money from his settlement from Proximo. And we used that money to take out an SBA loan. And we somehow were able to pay off the rest of it and put it in this building. So I went back in April of 2014 of that year with my friend Betty, who speaks fluent German. She's born in Hamburg, and we basically had to take apart the brewery with pictures because there's no cut sheet on a brewery from 1932. And we
almost a century old.
Smoked Cuban cigars, drank liters of Helles. We were a riot, 2 American girls fucking running around in Germany, and brought that brew house back here, and ended up being all right,
Wow. It's funny to think who was it we were talking to? Levante, I think, when they were like, we bought this giant brew house. I think it was German. And they were like, there's no instruction manual.
Oh, yeah.
Put it together. We just had to figure it out. You kind of know how it's supposed to work. But...
I mean, we knew how it worked, but there was we had to build the platforms for it and everything. So it's on 2 different levels, and we built a mezzanine in the brewery. So we actually had to design the levels and everything before we had the brew house here. It came in a shipping container, just in all of its parts.
Yeah.
And there's a control panel, and we had to figure out which motors controlled what. And it's pretty cool. I feel like I could do it again. So.
More crushy, less crushy.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our brewery.
That's I think that's the best origin story we may have ever heard on the podcast. That's pretty cool. I like
and
that,
if you're older than the brewery or as old as the brewery, you drink free beer.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Okay. Right.
We've had a few people. We had this husband-wife couple. They were still working and everything. He was like an allergy doctor, and they came in, and pretty cool. We take a picture in front of the kettle. It hasn't happened for a minute. It's hard to ask somebody, are you older? They're like, no, I'm 70. And you're like, oh, shit. This is 88 years old. My bad.
Born in 1932 or before?
Yeah, exactly. How do you ask somebody that question?
Yeah,
you just card everyone.
I like
That's true. Yeah, you just be like, I need to see your ID. Are you serious? Yeah, it's the rules.
There are places that is the rule.
That's true.
I went to a bar once with my 70-some-year-old father-in-law, and they carded him. And I was like, really? And they're like, it's policy. Every single person that goes through the door has to show their ID.
In Colorado, a lot of places are like that. Really strict. I actually got carded to buy a lighter one time, and I was like, you're joking. I was trying to light my barbecue, and I had no way. I had nothing. And they were like, no, I'm serious. And I was like, oh. I guess I'm leaving.
How old do you have to be to buy a lighter?
Yeah, well, they're afraid you're going to buy cigarettes, and apparently people get busted.
It's just
I've
fire.
been carded to buy lighters when I was 15.
That I understand.
Yeah,
I'm
when
not
you're
a
obviously
spring
super
chicken.
young. But, yeah.
But also, it's just fire. That lights cigarettes, but it also lights things that aren't cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your furnace. I don't know. Do furnaces light? I have no idea. I'm really bad at house stuff.
There's fire involved somewhere. I mean,
Oh my god. She can take apart an almost century-old brew house, but she doesn't know how furnaces work.
Doesn't have to do a
Alan,
furnace.
look it.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
Hey!
beautiful.
Proper.
Beautiful. Oh, I love it.
I'm a foam off the top guy. Some people
Foam
like
off the
to
top?
drink it underneath it. I don't have a mustache, like not one that's visible
Yeah, it does
on
kinda-
camera, but one hair here once in a while. But if I did, I think I would slurp it all in to get it like,
Yeah, I'm a drink under the foam. I think. Now,
Yeah, I think I
haven't
am
really
too.
thought about it before.
And
but,
I just kind of deal with it in the mustache.
that always reminds me. I used to work as like a barista at like a coffee place, and there was this woman that would always get a skim milk extra dry cappuccino, which just means like all like foam.
shit, yeah.
Like and this woman would order this thing large, which not to get into too much detail, but like the most annoying drink in the world to make. And she would freaking eat the milk foam with a fucking spoon. Like, what are you like? Why? What is the point?
She probably
of
like
this?
doesn't eat ice cream and like she has some like weird.
And anyone who's made lattes or skim milk is the hardest milk to make foam out of. So it would be skim milk, large, extra dry. So like all foam, and it's just the worst thing.
I used
ever.
to be a barista. I get it.
Yeah.
The worst
is
are
barista-
half decaf.
Oh, the half caps are the worst. Yeah, like why even just get less espresso? Like why get half
Yeah.
decaf? Yeah. Anyway,
Is
whatever.
barista a general neutral term? It's not like baristo and barista.
No, yeah, it's just barista.
I wish
far
it
as
were
I know.
barista bro.
Barista bro.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
I like that a lot.
Do you have room for milk, bro?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a sick tat, bro. Well, if people out there on the interwebs would like to learn more about Bierstadt, where should they go, Ashley?
You can go to our Instagram, of course, at Bierstadt Lager, spelled B-I-E-R, not B-E-E-R. Same with Facebook. You can probably find us. It's not that difficult anymore. We don't have anything crazy. But that's about it. I mean, yeah, we try to update it as frequently as we should. We don't have a company that does it or anything. Everything's pretty organic, and it's if you email us there, you're getting me really. So, and then I have a personal Instagram as well, Ryan Heitzgeby. So it's my unofficial title is Ryan Heitzgevich. It's on my business cards, but they won't let you put bitch on Instagram. So it's just Ryan Heitzgeby Ash.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
That's the best.
Oh my god.
Instagram handle ever.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, so I love putting it on my business card because like once in a while people will like look at it and be like, giggle. Like
Yeah.
I like putting little eggs places.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. Steph, you emailed me. I don't know if you opened up the link down at the bottom.
The David Hasselhoff video.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's one of my world's favorite videos. Like it's David Hasselhoff hooked on a feeling. And
Oh
it's an
my
amazing
God.
video. It's an amazing video. So I highly recommend. I put it there for just the general entertainment.
I figured it was him with the cheeseburger yelling at his daughter.
No, but the hooked on a feeling video has a lot of really. I don't even know what to say. It's like he's there and he's like he's on a boat like in the icebergs and he's like coming down a mountain. Like it's just look it up. Just look it up and do yourself a favor.
It speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself. There's not enough I can say about it.
I watched a real shitty movie on Netflix once that was centered around David Hasselhoff. And it wasn't that long ago. It was called Killing Hasselhoff. And it's these couple of comedians are in it, and they devise this plan to kill David Hasselhoff for some stupid fucking reason. And as many funny people are in it, it's just such a stupid fucking movie. But now that's all I think of when I think of Hasselhoff.
You should watch the video. I watched it. So that it came about on a trip from 2014 with my friend Betty. And we were in Bamberg, like just
Isn't he like
messing
super
about, like-
popular in Germany?
Oh yeah, he's
super
a
popular.
god
So she
over
was
there.
like, "Oh, you got to watch this video." So we used our 30 minutes of free internet to watch that video exactly as many times. Wait, like 9 times. I like called Bill for like 10 minutes, and I was like, "Yeah, I got other things to do." And he's like, "What do you have to do?" It's the middle of the night where he is, and I'm like, "Just things and stuff." So we watched that music video while drinking like 7 Jaeger pills at this bar that had free internet. Like we watched it like 10 times. Like we just didn't stop. So I was like, that has to be a permanent part of my life, and everybody else I know's life now. You're welcome.
That's amazing. Holy shit.
So also, while we're telling people how to find you on the internet, you are canning and delivering beer right now, correct? Like you're still
Not delivering.
You're not delivering right now. But
Yeah, we're canning. We're at liquor stores around the state and stuff, and then you can get it here.
and cans to go and all that kind of stuff.
Cans
so
to go,
people in
food
the
to
area
go. We
can
have a full
find you.
service restaurant here, and honestly, we're doing really. We have a really good space for COVID times because we have so much space.
Yeah.
So you should feel really comfortable. We have all touchless ordering and all the 9 yards.
Do I hear the Bee Gees in the background right now?
You do. It's back in the background over there.
That's
I can't believe
amazing.
you can hear that. Yeah. I'm always amazed. Actually, what people shouldn't do is don't. You asked what people should do, Steph. What people shouldn't do is Yelp or Google review or any of those things. Please don't do that at your
don't do
local
that.
place. Unless
We've heard
they're
that a
breaking the
number of
rules.
times.
Unless
Yeah.
they're breaking the rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Amen.
And while you're out there finding Bierstadt online and longing over the beers that are in the pictures that you are looking at, remember, you can always find us online, Twitter and Instagram. We are at Beerbusters. Facebook, we are Beerbusters Podcast. There's patreon.com/Beerbusters, so you can find your way into Last Call, which we will record very, very shortly. I guess, do the cool kids say click through to Last Call, right? Is that a thing?
That's not how it works.
I'm not cool. I have no idea.
Well, because here's the thing.
It's a different platform, yeah.
This is a podcast that is like on all the podcast things. Last Call is only on Patreon, so you have to have
Right.
the Patreon app or go to the Patreon web. There's no clicking through.
Click through and type in
I mean,
the
I guess if we were
URL
super
or-
organized, there could
or
be-
download the app or like create a Siri
Here's the
shortcut
thing.
or something.
Here's the thing.
for this.
It's 20 goddamn 20. You don't need to tell people how to find things on the internet. They know what they're doing.
You would be surprised.
Well, the people who can't, we don't want around.
Place you should find is beerbusterspodcast.com/shop.
Yeah, do that.
New merch, new designs from our very own Wayne.
We do. And when there's masks in
There
there.
are masks because this shit ain't going away anytime soon. So
Wear a mask.
Yeah, that's the sad reality of things, man. That's
Please wear a mask and please buy it from us.
Well, shit. Before I get any more depressed, that brings us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters, and this was a whole lot of fun. And I'm meeting up with Steph tomorrow to pick up the beers, Ashley, and I can't wait to drink them. Wayne, I'll try to save them for you. I'll try my best.
Yeah, we're not far from each other. I was recently on a trip, so I'm sort of torn.
You're doing the responsible thing, and thank you.
2 more days, and we're two more days, and we've hit our 2 weeks.
Nice. But Ashley, thank you so much for coming on the show and for sending the beers out our way.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And I only sent like 4 beers out to Steph, I think. So.
Oh shit.
You know.
Oh shit.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well,
there might
24
not be
beers.
any
I said
left.
24 beers. I said 24 beers.
Ashley.
God damn. Well, hey, I'm Dan Baker, joined by
Sorry, I drank it all already, Steph Hefner.
and fuck it, Squids.
Wayne Baker. I think the music stopped. I
It
don't know. I
did.
can't really
It
hear
did. Wayne Squids done.
This is the end of the episode. And scene.